All right, let's get into it. The Egyptian market has been absolutely full of surprises so far in 2025, and today we're going to figure out where the real opportunities are. We are diving deep, and I mean deep into the mid-year performance of equity funds to see which ones are leading the pack, and, more importantly, what their success actually means for you. So, here's what we're going to cover. We'll start with a super quick rundown of what equity funds even are, then we'll check the market's pulse to get our benchmark. After that, it's the main event. We're counting down the top performing funds and shining a spotlight on a few standouts. And we'll wrap it all up by turning that data into some key takeaways for you. Let's do this. Okay, so before we start naming winners, we all need to be on the same page, right? We have to understand the game. So let's start with the absolute basics. What exactly is an equity fund? Okay, think of it like this. An equity fund is kind of like hiring a team of professional chefs for your money. Instead of you trying to perfectly pick every single ingredient, or in this case, every stock, these specialists do it all for you. They build what's called a diversified portfolio, which is basically a well-balanced meal. It spreads out the risk so you don't have all your hopes pinned on just one company. It's all about expert management and really safety in numbers. So, if a fund manager is doing their job well, how do we know? I mean, how do we grade them? Well, we need something to measure them against, a benchmark. And for that, we look at the market as a whole. So let's go ahead and check the pulse of the Egyptian market for the first half of 2025. Right off the bat, you can see the EGX 30, which tracks the 30 biggest companies, posted a really solid return, almost 15%. Not bad, right? But here's the real story. Look at the EGX 70. This represents a much broader slice of the market, and it shot up over 25%. That tells us something huge. The real action wasn't just with the giants this year. And that 25.56%? Remember that number. That's the number to beat. All right, with our benchmark set at a blistering 25.56%, it is time for the main event. Which funds didn't just meet that high bar, but actually cleared it? Who made it into the winner's circle? Let's find out. So the highest return from any single fund was this. A pretty staggering 26.97%. That's not just beating the market, that's absolutely leaving it in the dust. So the million-dollar question is, which fund pulled this off? But hold on, because this is where the plot thickens. While one fund did manage to snag that number one spot for pure returns, the bigger story of 2025 so far has been about the incredible, almost total dominance of a single investment company. Just look at this leaderboard. You've got numbers 1, 2, 4, and 5, all belonging to one powerhouse, CI. Their specialized funds, everything from consumer goods to fintech, were just crushing it. But wait a second. Look at number 3. It's the Pharaoh's First Fund. Not only did they crash the CI party, they actually walked away with that chart-topping 26.97% return. I mean, that is a true underdog victory right there. It's really easy to just look at the highest return and call it a day, right? But is that the only thing that matters? Not always. For a lot of investors, other features can actually be way more important than just hitting the absolute top of the charts. Let's take the Al Ahly Bank Second Fund, for example. Yeah, it delivered a very respectable 18.16% return. But what makes it really interesting, what makes it stand out, is its key feature. There is no minimum purchase. This is a huge deal. It makes it a fantastic gateway for new investors, for people who want to get into the market without needing a ton of money up front. That kind of accessibility is a massive advantage. Okay, let's bring this all together. We've looked at the data, we've seen the winners, and we've met the wildcards. But now for the most important part. What does all of this actually mean for you as an investor? So, what are the big lessons from the first half of 2025? First, the broader market, that EGX 70, is where the real heat is. Second, specialization clearly pays off. Just look at how CI sector-focused funds dominated. Third, never, ever count out the underdog. The Pharaoh's Fund proved that the top performer can come from seemingly out of nowhere. And finally, remember that performance isn't just about the highest number. Features like accessibility matter a lot. So at the end of the day, here's what we have. A booming market, we have dominant players, and we have some amazing surprise winners. The landscape is just rich with opportunity. This data, it isn't just a bunch of numbers on a screen. Think of it as a map. So the only question left is the one for you. Given everything you know now, what does your investment future look like?